The only thing that we're interested in is putting money in your wallet. If you want to bet the fights, if you want to have a little bit of action, you are in the right place. With my partner, Ian Parker, I am Brett Okamoto.
We're ready to rock between our parlays, our props, our straight picks. It's time to make money. Let's go.
There she is, beautiful Las Vegas, where the UFC will be back after a quick trip down to Miami. This time, it's a UFC fight night from the Apex facility. Number 9 taking on number 10 in the heavyweight division. Tai Tuivasa making the trip over from Australia to face Marcin Tybura. And as always, we are here to break it down from a gambling perspective. Hello, everybody. I am Brett Okamoto alongside Chael Sonnen's favorite gambling expert, Ian Parker, who I think is basically everybody's favorite gambling expert with the way he's been hot in 2024. Ian, it was another profitable week down there in South Florida, was it not, at UFC 299?
We had a good time. You, me, Chael, Anthony. We got a really good view of this fight. So let's start off. We went 4-2 in our best bets, but Brett, you and I both know this could have been a sweep. Gilbert Burns just needed to hang on a little bit longer. We had him at plus 3.5. 2 of those 3 judges had him up 2-0 going into the third. Blades Almeida over 1.5 looked great in round 1. I said I was leaning Blades. I should have stuck to my guns there. We missed on that one. But then Barber, Gamrot, Bejeda, we really had a good one. And Brett, we now hit 4 parlays in the last 3 weeks. I'm excited about this card only because, hey, if there's a UFC card, that means there's money to be made. And I love the way how you preface that it's 9 versus 10 in this heavyweight division. You, my friend, are a true promoter.
Yes, sir. Very close to a clean 6-0 sweep back there in Miami. If you looked at the 2 we lost, man, I mean, they were looking good until they just were not. But that is the name of the game here in MMA. Let's take a look at this main card, UFC Fight Night, coming to you from the Apex facility. You can find it on ESPN Plus. It's a little bit earlier, so make that note on your calendars. 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific. It's a 6-fight main card. Again, as I mentioned, Tai Tuivasa taking on Marcin Tybura. Pretty close odds there, so we'll be talking about that main event, of course, in depth, followed by a co-main event, welterweight bout between Brian Battle and Ange Lusa, and we'll be having picks, Ian's picks, of course, for every fight on the card, as we always do. So let's start at that main event. Tai Tuivasa, man, he's on a bit of a skid. 3 losses in a row. He hasn't won since February of 2022. Still a small favorite here, and I think that's just because, Ian, he's got, I believe, a pretty clear advantage here in one area, and that is the speed. The hand speed, I think he is capable, certainly capable of catching Marcin Tybura. But if he doesn't, it might be a little bit of a long night for him. Is that how you see it? And ultimately, how are you breaking down this heavyweight main event?
I agree. I think the speed, I think the power, I think his durability. The guy's got a head like a coconut. It's just, when you're fighting Tai Tuivasa, you're getting yourself into a war, or you could be smart like Alexander Volkov and kick his legs so he can barely stand, take him down, and put him on his back where he's a no threat. And we've seen Marcin Tybura do that to other people. I think Tybura is one of those guys that, yes, he may be another litmus test at heavyweight. I think this is a fight that Tai Tuivasa is going to really find out. Can I still compete within the top 10? It's no secret that he had a knee injury a few weeks ago. There's something going on with his meniscus. That's tough when you're trying to throw power. Power comes from your legs, your hips when you're throwing punches. Not sitting here trying to give boxing lessons, but that's pretty much common knowledge to those with strikers. For me, I don't like this fight for Tai Tuivasa. I don't like any fight where he goes up against someone who I think has a decently high IQ, although Tybura is not necessarily, a world beater, but he's smart. He will try to take this fight to the ground, and I think in a small cage that will play to the grappling side of it. So I'm going to actually go with Tybura here. I think that line makes a lot of sense. I think Tuivasa is a favorite due to name recognition. But we've seen Tybura beat other guys, similar style to Tai. And if you want to take it a step further, it wouldn't, by finish at plus 125 for Tybura, makes more sense almost, because if this fight goes 5 rounds, then, Brett, at that point, I don't even know what I'm talking about, right? We're talking to these 2 guys. For me, if you like Tai, I would just stick there because the TKO KO number stays the same. I'm going to go with Tybura, but if you want plus money, take him by finish, and it's there for you.
Okay, so a lot of good information there. You're taking Tybura as technically an underdog, even though he's still a minus number. And if you want to add sprinkle a little bit more, plus 125. Yeah, I know what you're saying. I mean, a lot of these heavyweight fights, and in fact, I was talking to somebody about it yesterday, and they were like, these heavyweight fights that either end in the first round or maybe they go the whole way just because these guys gas out and just the return on their investments early on in the fight don't always pay off because they're just too tired to knock each other out later. But I do agree with you, especially with Tuivasa coming off of that knee injury. he's going to be aggressive in this fight, as he always is, but maybe even potentially more so, knowing that maybe he cannot hold up for 5 rounds. Let's move to that welterweight co-main event. It's between Brian Battle and Ange Loosa. Brian Battle has been pretty good in the UFC, man. 5-1 mark, and he's a -180 favorite here. What do you think of this 170-pound fight?
I think Battle's a very talented guy. I think sometimes he's his own worst enemy. You know, it's like he sometimes needs to get dropped in order to come back and get the win against a guy in Loosa who's got a lot of power, never been finished. He's got to be careful here. However, he's got more ways to win. He's got the reach. I think if he kicks to the calf and not any higher, Loosa then can't put him on his back. I do like Brian Battle here. I think wherever the fight goes, as long as he doesn't just, look, if he gets put on his back, it wouldn't shock me, but he cannot just allow that to be the case because Loosa can stay on top and steal a round. However, I think Battle has a lot of upside between the two, more ways to win. I think if he actually gets the fight to the floor and takes the back, that's where he can get the finish. For me, this is Brian Battle's time to shine against a pretty durable, tough fighter in Loosa.
Okay, sounds like pretty two confident picks in the main and co-main. Let's move on with the rest of this 6-fight main card, which again starts at 7 Eastern. We'll go to the light heavyweight division. OSP, Open State Peru, taking on Njoku Kennedy. What do you got on this one?
I mean, if you don't have Kennedy in every parlay under the sun, then I don't know what betting is at this point. Not that it's MMA, things can't happen, but OSP outside of a win over Shogun just looks like a shell of himself. Kennedy, we know, is a very talented fighter. He got knocked out in his last fight, but we've seen him finish other opponents time and time again. Give me under 1.5 rounds in this fight. I think OSP is going to get overwhelmed. I think he's there for a paycheck. I think he retires after he loses. I think Kennedy has a nice bounce back here.
Okay, and from there we go to the featherweight division. Christian Rodriguez taking on Isaac Dogarian. You like Dogarian here at -185.
I do. Dogarian's a very interesting prospect. Good wrestler, good striking. He's finished all of his fights. C-Rod we saw against Rojas Jr. Very durable, very good everywhere. Taking this fight on short notice. I think Dogarian's just a better athlete. I think he's physically stronger, and he will not gas. Give me Dogarian and get the win here.
Okay, from there we go to the female bantamweight division. Pansy Kianzad taking on Macy Chasson. 2 veterans here, and you got a prop of the night to go with.
I do. I think for me, prop night, Chazon by decision. None of these women are going to finish each other. You know, Panny has got decent striking. She's got good grappling. Just Chazon, smarter fighter, better everywhere. Uses that clinch against the cage really well. Look for that to go all 3 rounds. Chazon by decision. Prop of the night for us this week, Brett.
And how about this matchup at middleweight? Gerald Mearshart, taking on Brian Barberina. 2 blue-collar guys who don't mind getting in a little bit of a battle here. What do you like about this one?
Brad, that's why I call him GM3, because I fumble that last name half the time, too. Him and Barberina should be a fun fight. Barberina at middleweight, though, I feel like he's just so undersized here, and the durability might get questioned. Give me Mearshart, Barberina under 2.5. I expect GM3 to get this fight to the floor and get the sub.
Yeah, these guys don't waste any time when they get inside the octagon. They pretty much go right at each other. So taking an under there, taking Mearshart by sub in round 2 as a long shot prop to add on to that Mearshart pick. Let's move on to the prelims rapid fire. Ian, take it away. What do you like on the prelims here on ESPN Plus?
All right, Brad, Mike Davis, Natan Levy. I'm going Davis here. Numbers a little high. Let's break that down. When you get the prop, do it by decision. Let's go Nunez over Chelsea Chandler. Nunez short, stocky, can defend the takedowns, better hands, carries a lot of power. Fialho over O'Day Osborne. Osborne starts off fast, tends to fade rounds 2 and 3, and has had a lot of losses by sub. We saw Fialho do that in his last fight. I'm going Culibao over Danny Silva. Silva looked good on the Contender Series. Culibao has fought much better competition. I think he gets it done here. Moises Ramirez over 1.5. Let's go McKenna over the jiu-jitsu ace at Amarim. We saw in Amarim's fight against Hughes. She gassed. She couldn't get the sub there. McKenna's looked good. 3 wins in a row. And last but not least, Gregorio over Anglinger. I like what I saw of Gregorio in his last fight. With Anglinger, we know he's a seasoned vet. I just think the power is going to be too much for him at -170. We're going there.
All right, nice job taking us through the card. Ian, like you mentioned, we've been hitting a lot of parlays lately. Have not hit the long shot parlay just yet. Let's do it this week. What do you got?
You know what? I looked for a main card one because at the time props were not available to us. However, Tybura by TKO or KO, if that happens, it's because he took Tai down, got in the mount position, and Tai was gassed, finished it. Brian Battle by submission. When he takes the back, he goes right for that rear naked choke. Lusa doesn't have much of a neck, so that might be a little bit why the number is plus 450. But I think if he gets it done, it's that way. And GM3 at plus 110 by submission, the odds say it all. We know he's a jiu-jitsu ace. Sometimes he takes a little bit long to get there. But at plus 3827, main card, long shot parlay, I'm in.
Yep, I like it. 38-1 according to ESPN Bet. And now let's get to the Parker's parlay for this UFC fight night.
Yeah, we've hit 4 in the last 3 weeks. That was because we did 2 on 1 card with 1 being a best bet. Let's go Kennedy. Let's go GM3. Let's go Davis. Let's go Moises. Chalky, yes. I don't care if you complain about it because guess what? Plus money, a win's a win. Otherwise, how else do you bet these favorites without risking with the prop? Let's go all 4 plus money. Let's make it 5 in a row.
Yeah, man, you keep hitting these parlays at plus money. It doesn't matter if they look a little bit chalky. They are hitting at plus money. And now about your best bets. You got 6 of them for this Saturday.
You know, Brett, it's funny. When I spoke to our producer, Max, said, man, I don't know how I'm going to come up with that many best bets. I may have to go 4. Within 30 seconds, I came up with 6. Give me Brian Battle over Ang Lusa. I still think that number is playable. I wish it was a minus 165. I still like it there. St. Preux, Kennedy under 1.5. This has got to be Kennedy's bounce back. If he gets off to a fast start, OSP is just going to stand there and he'll eventually get finished. Meerschaert Barberina under 2.5. Someone is going down in that fight. Let's go Bulgarian Fieldho. Let's go Josian Nunez to get it done against Chelsea Chandler. And we're going to go 6 best bets. I like that 6 number. We're doing it again this week.
Okay, why not, man? Like you said, I almost swept it 6-0 last week in Miami. Another 6 for you here this week, plus all the parlays, plus all the props. It is a 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 Pacific card on ESPN Plus. Enjoy it. Hope you enjoyed this show. Hope you enjoyed that extra money we just made you on Saturday. And stick around. We'll see you at the next one.